And honestly, does wonders for your mental health too, guys. Here we go. Sharing is caring, they say. There was a time not that long ago where I wasn't going anywhere, and I mean that in every possible way you can think. Good morning, good morning. There's a hill over there, amphitype theatre up top. As I'm making my way up to this summit, one thing that really stands out is just how much concrete is scattered around this hillside. And at first glance it almost looks like random ruins, but when you start paying attention to it and you notice the foundations, the retaining walls, old tracks and what appear to be man-made terraces. This hill is called Adra Ignuf, and because it overlooks Nador, the Marchica Lagoon, and even across towards the Mediterranean, it's always been a strategically important location. From up there you can see for miles in every direction. One thing that I find quite intriguing is that nobody seems to be able to agree exactly what all those structures are or what they have been. Some people believe they're the remains of military installations dating back to the Spanish protectorate, when this region was heavily fortified during the Rif Wars, and others think at least some of what's here could be from later Moroccan military or communications infrastructure. But there's no proper records to dig into, and what little information there is on the internet all seems to be in disagreement with each other. Whatever their origin, it's clear that there's a significant amount of work that went into the hill at some point, and today nature's reclaimed much of it, as you'll see. Trees are growing through old concrete, paths have faded away, and what was once an important site has become a quiet place where the locals come to walk and enjoy the views. It's one of the things I enjoy most about exploring old places like this. You can stand somewhere that hundreds or even thousands of people have passed by without giving it a second thought. Yet there are traces of history all around. Sometimes you know exactly what you're looking at, and other times, like now, all you can do is piece together the clues and imagine what life may have been like. Hopefully, when we reach the top, we'll get a better look around and maybe even uncover a few more hints about the story of the place. The people who have called these mountains home for thousands of years are the Amazigh, often known in English as the Berbers. They're the indigenous people of North America with a history stretching back long before the arrival of the Arabs in the 7th century. Their ancestors built kingdoms, traded across the Sahara, and interacted with the Phoenicians, the Romans, and countless other civilizations. In the Rif Mountains, the local Amazigh people are known as the Rifians, and many still speak Tarafit, one of the Amazigh languages. These mountains have always shaped their identity. The difficult terrain helped communities remain independent for centuries, preserving their language, customs and traditions. After the Arab conquest, Islam became the dominant religion, but Amazigh culture never disappeared. Instead, it blended with Arab influence while maintaining its own distinct identity. In recent years, Morocco has taken important steps to recognise Amazigh heritage. The Amazigh language was granted official status in 2011, and it's now increasingly taught in schools and used on public signs. Even so, many of the people in the Rif believe the region has been economically neglected compared with other parts of the country. The area has also seen periods of protest over jobs and infrastructure. So, while the Amazigh culture is now officially recognised as a fundamental part of Morocco's identity, debates continue over how that recognition translates into everyday life. Here in the Rif, the mountains will stand as a reminder of a people who have preserved their language and traditions through centuries of change. To me, as a Kiwi, it sounds very similar to what the Maoris went through and what the Aborigines went through, and also the American Indians. You know, the traditional sort of the what do you call them? The indigenous people of the continents or suffered this at the hands of anyway, but there seemed to have been a push back in the early 2000s where a lot of these indigenous people seemed to become officially recognised at a government level. Seemed to happen the world over.
Kept up for a few days actually.
Don't know what to make of it. It just happened.
Freedom! Oh, crack me up. What a beautiful view. Absolutely gorgeous. Shall we go live? Go live for 10 minutes. 6 o'clock, what is it now? 5 in UK, I think. So I just did a little 20-minute live then from the top of this rock, which I will link. It'll be up here somewhere. Chatted to a nice core group of the subscribers there. It was 20 minutes well spent, really was. Now I'm ready to head back down, but check it out, will you? I'll give you one last look. Now the sun's getting up quite high. Not sure what these steps are around the place. Beautiful. I'd love to know what this area was though. There's like some sort of big concrete flat area here. Maybe back in the day when I was sort of walking around Nador, you see remnants of like a bygone era. You know, sort of like a bit bohemian styles in a way. And maybe this was a place to come and enjoy a cuppa in the morning any time of the day. You know, it's like it's had its flare up, and it is now no longer. And these are like the leftovers of a more lucrative time for the Nadorians. So that's something out of Star Wars, isn't it? Nadorians. Not bad for somebody in the mid-50s, eh? My agility and fitness. There's a lot more people out there my age or younger that could benefit in a bit of a lifestyle change. Maybe the cost of living is a blessing in disguise. Maybe the get out and fend for yourself type lifestyle is exactly what some of us need. Maybe a metaphorical kick up the butt, get your shit together, look after yourself, get active, get fitter. Certainly can't do you any harm. You may get a few blisters in the short term, a few knocks and a few scrapes, you know, but by jolly it will do you well. And honestly, it does wonders for your mental health too, guys. There was a time, here we go, sharing is caring, they say. There was a time, not that long ago, I'm talking years here, possibly decades, where I wasn't going anywhere. I wasn't doing anything. And I mean that in every possible way you can think. There was only one place I went, and that was to the shop, the local shop. And that was to buy tobacco and a bottle of spirit as well, it was. And I used to do that every couple of days, well, say every 4 days. So come lunchtime, I'm drinking my first drink, sitting in front of the TV. I was doing things to keep the break. I mean, I was doing a lot of buying and selling online. I was doing a lot of like buying broken stuff off eBay, fixing it and selling it for more. I bought a few returns pallets, went through them, fixed what I could and sold them. So I was making, it's not that I was lazy. I don't think I've ever been lazy. Lazy is it's a horrible place to be. It's not something I ever want to be in. So I was keeping active that way, but I just wasn't going anywhere. I was suffering up here majorly. I was on medication for anxiety, depression, because of something that happened prior to all this, which I've still not really shared with you. I do plan on letting you guys know about that one day. When that day comes, I don't know. And I won't know until it happens, exactly like what I'm sharing with you now. No plan to say this, it's just one thing led to another, and now I'm sat down sharing this part of it with you. And it even got to the stage where I didn't look forward. I was getting to the end of my bottle or the end of my baccy. I was like, shit, I've got to go out again. I've got to get out there. I've got to go out and face people. I've got to go out and put myself in harm's way. I've got to go out and, you know, there's a chance that they might do. So I thought, well, I'll get a bike. I'll get myself a push bike so I can get to the shop quicker and get back quicker. And you know what? It was that short burst of intense exercise going to the shop and back, and I did that for a few weeks, and it got to the stage where I was like, fuck, quite looking forward to it. So instead of going straight to the shop and straight home, I'd go around the block. So I'd cycle around the block to the shop and then shoot back. And then that progressed to, I'll go a bit earlier in the morning and I'll go for a ride out somewhere. You know, I'll go for a ride out along the river or whatever. So it was going out, and then I'd stop on the way back and get the bottle and go back. And that drinking and the smoking over a certain amount of time, I mean, it didn't happen like that. slowly weaned. It got less and less and less and less, to the point where it was like, I'm absolutely loving this cycling. And I ended up getting a job with Deliveroo. That just turned off for some reason then, not sure why. I ended up getting a job with Deliveroo when they first hit the scene in Manchester. And it was a case of me chucking a few clothes in my bag, getting on the train, getting out to Manchester, staying in a hostel there and cycling like a madman around Manchester for sort of Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then I just thought to myself, and I'd knocked the drinking on the head at this stage. I wasn't drinking anymore. I was still smoking. And I thought, well, what's stopping me from going to other cities around the UK? So that's what I started doing. Working in different cities, doing Deliveroo. And then I got a job with Uber. I got the Uber account, and then eventually I ended up in, I actually did a charity ride all the way around the UK in Wales, and raised, I think it was nearly £2,000 for Sustrans, which was they look after all the cycle networks throughout the UK. They're a self-funded charity in a way. And cycling is the best drug. This is what brought me onto it. It was the exercise. It was popping down these stairs saying about how good it would do you. You know, it's not going to do you any harm. And it's that exercise that got me off the medication. You know, those chemicals that I'm not saying medication is bad. You know, there's certainly some ailments that you need medication for. Christ, my mum and dad are kept alive by pills at the moment. If it wasn't for pills, my mum and dad probably died long ago. The cocktail they take, they're probably preserved. They'll be here longer than I will. Anyway, I digress. But yeah, antidepressants, anti-anxiety medication. I think for a lot of people, all they need is regular exercise, you know, and you can give away that and get your life back. Start off slow and small. Get a push bike and just go for leisurely jaunts, you know. It's easy exercise as a push bike. Easy exercise. It's not like running. I see these really fat people running, and I think to myself, you know, good on you for having that mindset, but do yourself and do your body a favour and get a push bike. You know, it's a lot, that form of exercise it's a lot more conducive to being a benefit to your body and your mind as well. I mean, there's nothing worse. I mean, especially when you're that size as well, you know, if you're big and fat and you're trying to get fit, kudos and good on you, but do your joints a favour, you know. Swim or cycle. They're the two forms of exercise, I think, to start off. But man, it's the best thing I ever did. The best thing I ever did was be anxious and lazy and think, right, I've got to get to the shop quick and back. Get a push bike for that. And it was that led me into, that led me here. Beautiful. Anyway, I'm going to turn this off. I'm going to have a moment.